This tank is free right now, and there's a reason you'll be wanting to dragon these nuts up on World of Tanks. And yeah, I apologize. This is the Dragon, which is the tier 7 light tank for the Halloween event, or at least one of the tanks that you can pick up for free as part of the Halloween Monster Hunter earn operation, which you can have a look at for yourself in the game, or you can have a look at the weekly news video that we've done recently, which covers every single of the Monster Hunter tanks, where we go through which ones are the best and which ones I really enjoy. And this one is top of my list in terms of fun, maybe not in terms of the tank that you probably want to pick, considering how cheap it is in the store to just buy outright, because it is, at the end of the day, a light tank can only cost you 4,800 gold, but will give you a ton of fun because the HE rounds in this thing are really powerful. 43 penetration, not particularly great, but 300 alpha damage makes this tank very fun when you're coming up against light tanks. We're going to get a couple of replays that I want to showcase to you as to how good this tank is and why I really enjoy playing it. But moreover, what is this tank actually about? Well, other than having that 300 alpha damage HE, it has a whole host of different abilities that you can use within the game. And by abilities, I mean statistics. But how have we set up this tank, and why have we set up this tank? Well, first off, we've gone with advanced loader for increased damage per minute. We've gone with advanced optics because we want the increased view range, because at the end of the day, it's a light tank. And of course, we've gone with advanced concealment to improve our undetectability, as you typically want in a light tank as well. So we become very hard to be able to spot, as well as being able to aggressively attack opponents whilst remaining undetected. And considering that this tank has relatively decent damage per minute of 2,700 when we've kitted out the tank like this, we're able to deal a significant amount of damage, but also get the assistance damage because we have that spotting build set up. So it's an all-round good build to have. Now, maybe you want to take gun stabilizer for the increased accuracy. Maybe it's something you want to do if you're trying to go around a tank and be able to out-traverse them, etc. Or maybe you just want the extra speed. But for me, 60 kilometers an hour feels decent, and it's almost like playing a super fast medium tank with no armor. I mean, yeah, you can see the armor model. You ain't bouncing anything anytime soon, so maybe taking the speed might be an option. But for me, this is kind of how I enjoy playing these type of light tanks, and it works out quite well for the most part when I do play in them in this way. But what else have we gone with? Well, we've gone with full premium consumables, you know the drill, and of course, considering the standard penetration kinda sucks, 145, so when you're coming up against tier 9s, good luck if you're firing standard, which means that if you are a free-to-play player and you're wanting a tank to either earn silver or to have a tank that you know, you're going to be able to deal considerable amounts of damage without having to fire any premium, this probably isn't for you. But stay tuned, because it is a really fun tank that, you know, sometimes you have to pick the fun rather than just the silver. And if you want silver, you can play Cold War anyway. So, you know, there's that. So why would you pick this tank over some of the others? And why would you pick it if you want to buy it as a tank from the store, being only 4,800 gold? Well, for me, it offers just a wide range of gameplay styles. It really teaches you how to play light tanks, to be honest with you, and it has a reasonable amount of alpha damage and kind of looks cool as well. I mean, looks are something, I guess, in World of Tanks, even if they don't actually make you any better. At least it looks cool. But we've kind of talked about the tank. Of course, we're running our commander with all of the bonuses to view range and the ability to fire on the move, with all of the perks including run and gun, snapshot and steady aim to increase accuracy. We've gone rapid loading born leader to improve our DPM and just general performance in the tank, and of course Sixth Sense, as is a guaranteed must if you're playing a light tank. If you do not have Sixth Sense in your light tanks, you are playing light tanks wrong entirely. And in fact, if you're not using Sixth Sense in any of your vehicles, you're probably playing them wrong for the most part as a general rule. But most importantly, How does it play in game? Let's jump into some gameplay, show you why this is one of my favourite tanks to play right now. And yeah, let's see what it's all about. Hopefully you enjoy. Like the video if you do, and let's jump in. So let's start off with a game on Halluf, where we see the true damage potential that this tank can deal. And of course then we'll move on to a purely combined damage game, where we deal a decent amount of damage alongside a decent amount of assistance to make it a really good game. So straight away, this tank doesn't have the most hit points, 880, which means you have to be very careful when you're trading with opponents. It is a tier 7 light tank after all, so you can't expect all too much. But straight away, I knew this was going to be an interesting game on Halluf, because our heavy tanks aren't seeming to make their way towards the heavy tank corner, which is always a good sign. And so, rather than just YOLO in on my own, not knowing what's going to be there, we go after this little VK2801 who's out in the open, so let's try and track him, and track him we do. Uh-oh, Mr. VK. And there you go, a little bit of assistance straight away with some actual damage as well. We pull back behind the hill to avoid being hit by anyone that might be looking at us, as the enemy tank only has a little amount of hit points, and we don't really need to take, 12 hit points or something ridiculous for the sake of losing half of our health. Or more, potentially, if there's TDs in the game, as we may see later on. But with nearly 900 damage done, it is a 5 for effect already, which is lovely. And our friend in the Tiger 131 gets spotted, and let me just say, this Tiger 131 was a bit of a donator. And what do I mean by that? Well, he decides to sit there against this tank, and whilst the Tiger 131 has pretty broken damage per minute, I don't think this guy really knew how to use it all too well, so we're just poking him, dealing damage every single time we are reloaded pretty much. And yeah, there's another one. Can we get a final one without taking a single damaging hit? We've done 2,200 damage. We hit him one more time. He comes in to try and ram us. We use the mobility, get around the side of him. He's getting no more damage from me, and we steal basically every single drop of his hit points. Then our little seal clubbing friend in the T67 comes flying in. But don't worry, our friendly leopard in his little tier 5 decides to chunk him out with that little rapid autoloader, making it just that much more funny to be taken out by a leopard. But with this game going as it has, we have of course taken out the majority of the enemy team. However, there is still a little bit of hit points that we can farm up in this game, and maybe we can get some more as we go through with plenty of hit points to trade against some of the lower tier vehicles that we'll be meeting, like the T1 Heavy for example. So what do we do here? Well, let's go in. We've got enough hit points, we can take a few. We decide to go with the tracking shot on the T1. Maybe we didn't decide to go with it, but I'm firing heat, so of course it gets absorbed by tracks, but it also does more module damage than your standard AP round, so we track him more easily, which is nice, and we get all of the assistance from tracking that guy, which is even more beautiful. So with the damage and the assistance that we've done, we decide to go in towards the remainder of the enemy team. There's a Cromwell, and with the heat rounds that we do have, can we hit him? Yes, we can. Of course we can. Broken. Now, with the damage and everything that we've done so far, we spot a friendly little artillery piece, and oh, it would be a shame if we HE'd this guy for 300. Very nice. Then we hit the Cromwell on the move with the HE. And then we go for a little shot underneath the Cromwell, which deals damage. The Tiger 1 obviously upset with the fact that I'd pumped his opponent there, or teammate, in the Tiger 131 earlier in the game. We decide to go in, deal a bit of damage to him. He decides to get tracked by me, obviously very skillfully aimed going into the tracks with the heat ammo to get all of the assistance from him. We get ourselves a bit of extra assistance, and of course 3,600 damage in this game, picking over 5,000 combined damage, which yeah, we certainly were dragging all over the enemy team in this game. So yeah, one of my most favourite tanks, and definitely having some good games in it as well last night when I was playing it. So I'm trying to do like a little series on all of the Monster Hunter tanks this year, to recover them for those of you that are interested. And we have featured some of the Monster Hunter tanks not that long ago, of course maybe last year when we had a look at the brand new ones, but hopefully it's given you an indication as to what these tanks are all about and why they are so fun, and why I really think that most people underrate the Dragon and pretty much all of the tier 7 to tier 8 light tanks from the Chinese line, and they're very, very good indeed. But yeah, picking up 163,000 silver, which was nice, with 5.1 thousand combined damage, so made it even silver, firing a lot of premium in that game, and also got a mastery badge, so a nice one indeed. But as we are carrying on with this video, let's have a look at a game on one of the console exclusive maps of Vineyards, which Vineyards is a very, very good map. In my opinion, has a little bit of something for everyone, which is always good, and often the ones that have a lot of kind of spots for heavies, mediums, tank destroyers are of course not our artillery friends, but some of the other vehicles that we have, and light tanks, then yeah, you can basically have some really, really nice games regardless of what tank you're in, which yeah, feels really nice when you find yourself in that situation. So, we load up the HE rounds and unfortunately missed the Hollenhund. Now if we penned the Hollenhund, we'd have been able to deal 300, which is why you want to carry a few of these HE when you are playing in these sorts of tanks. And you can see me here just trying to go for the Vanguard. Can we hit him? Oh, just narrowly missed him here. Leading with this tank can be a little bit of a pain, since you do have a fairly long shell travel time, because the shell velocity isn't particularly too good, whether that be on the heat rounds or the HE, so just bear that in mind. You have to get a little bit used to it when you're playing it. Don't think that because you're missing a few shells at the beginning that it was always going to be like that. You just have to kind of learn how to use that shell velocity. It certainly took me a little bit of time. But as we push in here, we are going to try and get a bit of damage against the T150 here, and with the T150 in that spot, maybe we can get a shot into him. We fire one, yes we do finally get a bit of damage. Can we get the next one? Wargaming, please. Now, we'll get the next one, surely. Yes, we do. And this is the situation you want to be in. Oh, for God's sake, Wargaming, please. Accuracy. Can we get another one? Yes, we can. Can we get the final one in him? Yes, we can. There we go. So, you can see how quickly this tank actually reloads. It's really, really nice, considering everything. We're going for the T43 there, or A43 maybe. We don't manage to hit him with the second shell blind, but, you know, you can't have everything. But what we do here is take a bit more of an aggressive stance. We're going to go up to this bush here, and of course this corner here. And there we go, we spot a few enemies in this game. We go for a heat round there, and then we swap to our HE. Can we actually hit this guy? 300 damage. Lovely. I love the HE in this tank. So, Lycan is still alive. We've got one more HE. Can we actually hit this guy before he gets taken out? Can we do it? It's auto-aiming, because, you know, skillful players always auto-aim. And there we go. Managed to hit that guy. A bit lucky there, but we'll take the HE round. Maybe I would actually take a few more HE in this thing, because you never know if you're going to come up behind some of the mediums in the game. But with what we're doing now, we are going to try and push as hard as we possibly can. And by pushing as hard as we possibly can, I mean getting into this location. Why are we doing this? Well, it's because from here you can spot all of the little campers that for some reason think it's a great idea to sit on top of the hill, and we're going to hopefully get a bit of damage against them. And of course we get hit by a blind ISG that we couldn't spot. Yay, so much fun. But there is a Mauer Breaker, one of the more annoying tanks to face when you're in a tank with only limited penetration on your heat rounds. Not fun, but maybe we can get a shot into him. We do finish him off, and there we go. A little bit of extra damage, and also picking up some assistance. Now, you might be thinking, oh, you've got all of the assistance you're possibly going to get here, but don't worry, because there's still some more assistance that we can get. And how are we going to do that? Well, you see this ridge over to me on the right-hand side. Well, we can come up and pop up here. We spot the opponents. We get one into that little nasty ISU 152 who hit me earlier, which is always lovely. And then we managed to get a bit more assistance on the T54E2. And, oh, looky here, a 53 TP who's out in the open. Maybe we'll see him later on in the game, but once again we spot the ISU 152K here, which is nice. Get a little bit of assistance on him, and maybe he'll get pumped again. Oh, look, he's just lost pretty much all of his hit points, and we got all of the spotting assistance damage on him. So nice one indeed. But he is not looking all too good right now. I'm not going to poke him for 193 damage unless he, of course, gives me all of his kind of armor, but unfortunately he doesn't seem to be wanting to do that, so we're not going to poke it. There's no point for a little bit of damage when we could get some more damage on the 53 TP, or maybe even the medium tank who's near our base, but he gets quickly shut down by one of the most balanced tanks in the game, the Equalizer, getting completely equalized by the artillery. I bet he had so much fun that game. But the heavy tank is over here. We're going to come around that corner. We don't aim 100%, but we still managed to get him anyway. And we didn't want to sit here because you never know with these heavy tanks. They can always swing around and manage to hit you. And so he is just pre-aiming me right now. He's looking over a different direction. We're checking if he's going to fire. Will he fire? Please fire at someone. Yes, he does. There we go. That gives us time enough to try and get a shot. It's a little bit of an annoying shot since we're quite low profile, and there is, of course, the ridge or kind of area in front of us, and then of course we missed that last shell, which would have taken us over 3,000 damage if we rolled to the standard, but we still managed to deal nearly 3,000 damage and also picked up 2,800 assistance with 1,966 base experience in that game, 5.5 thousand combined damage, which is a really good result, picking up a mastery badge, 142,000 silver basically, and yeah, a really fun game. And once again, this is why the Dragon is one of my favourite Monster Hunter tanks, and why I think you guys might want to try and at least get it at some point, whether you buy it with gold for pretty cheap right now, or you know, you just decide to actually get it for free as part of the free tank operation for the Monster Hunter event. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do like the video, and if you aren't already and you want to see more, subscribe to the channel. Hope you have a fantastic rest of the day, and we'll be back tomorrow with a live stream and a video on the same day, and I'm guaranteeing it tomorrow, so stay tuned at about 4 o'clock UK time in the afternoon, where we'll be starting streaming, and yeah, hopefully it'll be an interesting one, and I'll see you there. Goodbye.